Is there scientific evidence for God's existence? When we look at the history of life on Earth as revealed to us through the fossil record, do we see evidence for God's intervention? I'm joined today by Dr. Bob Nisbet, who is a plant biologist and a Christian, to help answer that question. Bob, I've heard about something called the Cambrian explosion. Could you tell me what that is, and what does it tell us about the history of animal life on Earth?
Well, the term explosion is a bit of an extreme word. You know, we think of a bomb blowing up. You know, that's a very, very fast chemical reaction, right? Yeah. And people who study the age of the Earth think in terms of millions, sometimes billions of years. It's hard to relate to that, you understand? But within that context that they're used to thinking of every day, what happened in this period of time between, about 550 million years ago and 520 million years ago was very dramatic. Before that time, there's not hardly any evidence of multicellular life. During that 30 or so million years, we find an abundance, a huge number of fossils that are multicellular. We call them mega fossils as opposed to the single cell micro fossils, okay? And it appears as if they just explode onto the landscape in evolutionary or geologic time, that is. And it's very interesting that there are two facts about that, actually three facts. The first is that within that period of time, virtually all of the major body plans that we see in animal forms since then are represented by individuals that arose in that relatively short, explosive period of appearance, okay? Now, the second is that there are almost no precursors for them. And the third is that the dating system, which is used to date the rocks, has an error bound which is greater than that 30 million, or maybe equal to that 30 million years. And which means that we really don't know if it took even 30 million years for them all to appear. It could have appeared simultaneously. We have no evidence to be any more precise than that. And that makes the concept of explosion even more dramatic.
So what we are saying here is that we've got the sudden appearance of complex animal forms in perhaps a geological instant.
Yes.
So what does that tell us then about the history of life, and can that be used to make a case that God was somehow involved in orchestrating the history of life on Earth?
Yeah, well, clearly God claims that in the book of Genesis when he says that during these, quote, days, whatever the days are, at least during a sequence of events, certain things happened on the face of the earth. And it appears from the narrative that they appeared to come into being almost immediately upon speaking. God spoke and it happened, okay? Now, we don't know that for sure. That may be just a poetic way of describing it, but it's possible. Now, I can see evidence for the possibility that that is actually what happened. What God may have done is brought about, created de novo from not even existing materials, even ancestors of 36 major groups of metazoan animals. And he could have done it instantaneously, or he could have spread it out over the 30 billion years and then let them take off from there and develop through the natural processes that he brought about in the chemistry and physics and mathematics
Mhm.
of the cosmos at that time to develop a vast assemblage of animals that we see on the face of the earth today or see evidence of in the fossil record. So that's the excitement that I derive from the Cambrian explosion.